When I say the word military spouse, I hear the words educated, inspirational, strong, and resourceful, with an average unemployment rate of 24% for an unknown amount of time, at least the last decade. Military spouses are showing off those skills through entrepreneurship. Instead of waiting around for a job that can fit the hectic life of active duty military or provide pay that's commensurate with experience and education, military spouses are finding their own ways to be profitable, have a sense of purpose, and utilize all of their education and skills to grow professionally. And it doesn't matter if you're active duty, in transition, post transition, or retired, entrepreneurship may be the right choice for you. So today I have Moni Jefferson, founder and CEO of the Association of Military Spouse Entrepreneurs, and Selena Conmackey, who is an entrepreneur, owner of Howoli Sochi Inspired, and a retired military spouse. In like 4 days' time, her active duty husband will be fully retired. They're going to join me today to describe what AMSE can do for transitioning and retiring military spouses and how choosing entrepreneurship has benefited them both personally and professionally. Thank you so much for joining me today for another SpouseLink live stream. I'm Anna Larson, SpouseLink ambassador. I'm also a copywriter, a digital marketer, a homeschool mom, and a retired military spouse. These live streams are for military spouses looking for connection and support as they near that transition or retirement from the active duty military world. In 2012, SpouseLink was created by AFMA, the American Armed Forces Mutual Aid Association, to support, inform, and inspire military spouses around the world. So as we dive into today's topic, please leave comments, share your experiences, let us know where you're joining from. We would love to hear from you. We value what you have to say, and we want to incorporate it into this live stream conversation. So I'm excited for you to interact with my guests and this community. And with no further ado, I'm going to jump right in and introduce my guests so I can get them up here talking about entrepreneurship. So let me pull up their bio slides. I'm going to start with Moni Jefferson. So Moni is an active duty Air Force spouse and accomplished multi-venture entrepreneur specializing in public relations, marketing strategy, business development, growth of operations, and sales. She is known for her role in advocating for military spouse entrepreneurs and international speaker across local and national venues. Since 2014, Moni has helped build and scale multiple military spouse programs. She has even been invited to the White House and has been featured on the NASDAQ Tower in Times Square and Forbes' Next 1,000 Entrepreneurs of 2021 for her work. Her most recent venture is the CEO and founder of AMSE, the Association of Military Spouse Entrepreneurs, since 2019, has helped over 2,000 military spouses around the globe to start, scale, and sustain businesses. Moni has 3 children, lives on the East Coast. She loves traveling and is dangerously addicted to nachos. Me too. And teaching her children how to cook traditional Puerto Rican meals on the weekends. She loves a good crime podcast and listening to all of Beyonce's music. Awesome. All right. And then moving on to Selena Conmackey. Selena is a WordPress website designer and also helps small and medium-sized businesses with digital strategy, including social media management, email marketing, and paid ads. She co-hosts the 15-ish minute coffee chat on YouTube. She's a chapter ambassador for the Association of Military Spouse Entrepreneurs and a regular blog contributor for spouselink.org. Additionally, Howoli Socially Inspired LLC is proudly celebrating its achievements in becoming an officially recognized military spouse-owned enterprise. While Selena isn't hosting a workshop, learning the newest Instagram trend, or adding a plugin to her clients' websites, you can find her spending time with her Ohana or her family, drinking coffee out of one of her mini Starbucks mugs, bringing Real Housewives, or having therapy sessions with her rescue dog, Coco. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring these ladies into the stream. Moni, Selena, hi. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I
feel horrible. I didn't mention my child or husband in my bio. It's happy about you sometimes.
I think that's going to be okay. But yeah, she does also have a child and a husband. We could just throw that out there right now, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to stop really quick for just a moment and recognize that originally Michelle Hughes was going to join us. Michelle is the operations manager for AMSE. She had a family emergency. And so Selena did step in last minute. So Selena, thank you so much for taking an hour out of your day and joining us here at this Spouse Link Live. For anyone who's watching, remember, we'd love to hear where you're at, your thoughts on this topic. Join into the conversation. So I think we should just jump right into it, right? I mean, we were talking behind the scenes that because we're also intimately familiar with AMSE and what it does, this live stream is going to be more like just a topic about, I mean, it's a conversation that we have all the time. So let me start by just asking the very first question, which is, what does being an entrepreneur really offer to a military spouse entering the transition and retirement phase? Moni, can we start with you?
Oh my gosh. So when I look at this question, or when we have these conversations, and we just had this conversation in the green room, guys,
We did.
I think it really offers the military spouse a perspective and an avenue to really shine. Also, I mean, we already know the stats, right? Unemployment rate, underemployment, being underpaid, all these statistics, which have caused the huge unemployment rate that we consistently have, even though we're tackling it in some ways. Entrepreneurship for a lot of spouses helps the transitioning spouse help the member also be at ease a little bit with staying home if you're generating revenue. So if you have active duty member, when you retire, your pay half of it goes away, depending on how many years your member has served. So it could be that buffer to add and continue that revenue and give the military member like a little less stress about having to really find something if they need to find another job. It also helps military families and military retiring families with food insecurity. A lot of food insecurity comes up. It's already an issue in our military community, but also as a retirement community, you're going from using the commissary or having those benefits all the time to civilian prices at the grocery stores are no joke, guys. Like, I go all the time, like, what? Because meat is one of the biggest things we go to the commissary for, is the meat. The meat is the cheapest, right? The good meat. And, self-worth, self-confidence, those are really big ones, I think. And I know that entrepreneurship helps solve those, because even if you're making $1, people see value in what you're creating or what you've made. And that really helps self-esteem issues or confidence. It helps them build confidence to move forward. So it solves it offers a lot of resolutions to a lot of different issues that we have.
I would 100% agree with that. Like that summary you just kind of gave. I mean, you started as an entrepreneur years and years ago, before AMSE was ever even a glimmer in your mind, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how did that journey start for you? When did you say to yourself, I'm going to do this on my own? I'm not working for Mr. Corporate America here.
So in 2014, I launched my first company, which was Dog Tags and Heels PR. It was a public relations boutique agency. And before that, I did a lot of MLMs, and we all hear that MLMs are kind of the gateway to entrepreneurship. I really think a lot. And I told somebody this the other day. I was like, when I was selling Mary Kay, this is how I use a lot of those techniques that I learned in those trainings, how to pitch. Like, is there any reason why you would not purchase this lipstick? Is there any reason why I couldn't come and do a facial? Like, all of these things that you learn at each MLM and different hats, people say they're not entrepreneurship. I think it's totally entrepreneur. It's a gateway to it, right? And it builds a lot of the foundation you need to run a business 100% on your own. So I kind of did that for a couple of years. I had a free car with Mary Kay. A lot of people don't know that. I did have free car, honey. Now we're selling lipsticks and facials. And then my husband deployed in 2014. And this is like when blogs became like, I was like, oh my gosh, there's blogs about spouses sharing their life. And I just was so like, I admired that. I thought it was great. But a lot of what people were sharing was very negative because they wanted to shed light on some of the nuances of being a military spouse and the issues that come along with it that the military had not focused on or tried to troubleshoot. So I said, well, I'm just going to start something kind of positive. Like I want to share the fun stuff that we do, the new places that we go. And so I started writing a blog, and then I got my first contract with Lincoln Military Housing and Corvius Military Housing. And I started writing blogs for them. And I received my first check, and I was like, wow. And it was $75, by the way. I remember it because I really felt like I did this based off of my talent. Mm-hmm. Like I sat down, I researched, I wrote, and it really just helped my self-esteem so much. So that in 2014, that's kind of when it all started. And then I kind of just went on to learn how to do the rest of it by myself, doing a lot of Googling, a lot of hours working on WordPress and crying and trying to figure out why things weren't working, and then celebrating like crazy when I got one plugin to work. And Roy would be like, I'm like, do you understand? It took me 2 weeks to figure out this one thing. But that's kind of how the journey started in 2014. And then it's just kind of naturally become this evolution of everything I've been working on all these years. I didn't realize what I was working on. And then now just looking back and saying like, this is my life's purpose. This is my work. This is the gift that God gave me to do the things that I need to do. And this is why I've done all this small stuff leading up to it. So that's kind of how my journey started, on top of the frustration of trying to get a corporate job because I have a background in PR and communications and a degree. Yeah. And just being turned down and knowing that I knew that I had value and I had worth and I could do it, and deciding that I wasn't going to allow others to decide my future, and I invest and advocate for myself. And so that's one of the biggest things I tell spouses all the time: invest in your own career, invest in your education, invest in your training, advocate for yourself, speak up for yourself. Nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else is going to buy your product unless you're doing it, unless you're speaking about it, right? So that's really how it all happened, and just the different types of things that I did to kind of do. And I will say this, in the service-based business as an entrepreneur, because before that I did own houses, rental houses and stuff, but that's different. I don't feel like that was trying to maintain clients and learn all this stuff as you're moving around. So that's really where the journey started in building this global empire.
Well, so, if you got a car from your MLM, that just says how you're going to hustle in your own business.
I got a car. Roy was like,
seriously though. Was it pink? Was it the pink Cadillac kind of car? Was it, or just was a car?
I had the red Grand Am. So it was like, I still had to do another so much to get there. But I was halfway there. It was not pink though. But it was free.
It's still pretty impressive. Yeah. When it was free. So I just have to say, Moni, I loved hearing your story. Every entrepreneur's journey is different, right? And I love hearing where your roots came from, right? But it all came from this inner insight of, this is what I want, and nobody's going to give it to me unless I do the hustle and I give it to myself. And I think that's almost like the heart of an entrepreneur, right? Yeah. It's about making sure that we have the opportunity to do what we're the best at. Yeah. And it just feels just such a need. So, okay, I'm going to ask the same question to Selena. I'm going to move you guys around for just a minute. Selena, now your question is just a tiny little bit different, but you're an almost retired military spouse, right? So whereas Moni is still active duty, and I'm not even sure if there's an end in sight for you right now, Moni, right? We're just going to leave that question off the table. Right?
Oh, no.
Right. But Selena, you have 4 days. And I know, I'm sorry. I'm kind of throwing you under the bus here, because that would have caused me so much anxiety at the end of our military career to hear that coming at me. 4 days. And here you are, you're an entrepreneur, you're making your income, and now your spouse is retiring and you're losing his income. So when you look at entrepreneurship, can you just tell me, how have you and your family benefited from this career decision that you made?
Yeah. I think, I can recall a couple of months ago, actually, maybe 6 months ago, my husband and I had this conversation about like, what are we going to do when you are done as far as work goes or whatever. And I think what I really, truly love about entrepreneurship, owning your own small business, is the control that you have to say, okay, here's where we are. Here's how I can grow this business to supplement what we're missing when you retire out. Because sometimes when you are working, the income stays the same, right? So I think him and we sat down, we looked at what I was making, and we knew that we would be just fine. And not a bragging thing, but like a relief, like on our part, because
Yeah.
I know a lot of friends that don't have that decision, and they do have to. The husband is, or the spouse that is retiring, that is getting out, is very stressed out about how to provide for the family after, because just going through all the VA things that we were going through, and the uncertainty of what's coming, is I can't rely, well, we can't rely on what he's going to be bringing in. So I think, I think what he's looking most forward to is like just joining my business and letting me be the ultimate boss, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, uh, I mean, jokes aside, but like, we can, as a family, really work together on my business, grow it even more, so that we can, again, I mean, it's a remote work is at its finest. We can travel. We can do some things that he was not able to really do during his 24 years in service,
Yeah.
without the weight of, I have to get back, or the military said I can only go X amount of miles, or I can't leave this country and go here. So
Yeah.
I think being an entrepreneur is allowing us a lot of freedom, to still support our lives, support our daughter that is, a junior in high school, with just a little bit of stress instead of like a lot of bit of stress.
Yeah. I mean, financial stress is like rated number one when it comes to retirement and transition time frame, right? And what I'm hearing is that your choice to become an entrepreneur is now giving you some choices, where instead of your spouse having to jump immediately into a job, he's getting a moment to step back and say, what do I really want to do for the next 20 years of my life, right? After my military career. And it's giving you the opportunity to say, hey, let's take a big trip to Europe or wherever you want to go, right? Where before you get into a job. And and I love that for your family, right? And I feel like for anyone that is like thinking about or considering entrepreneurship, that is a huge benefit. That is like probably one of the number one benefits, in my opinion, that for a transitioning or retiring military spouse, that they can bring to the table. Because even your job as an entrepreneur, the flexible schedule it can usually bring allows you even that flexibility to support your spouse through that transition time frame without having to be at work 9 to 5.
Right. I mean, you can breathe a little bit more. And I think, I joke, in my circles, that I came into being a military spouse at 40. And so I went from having a career to having nothing. As far as like, we moved to the middle of Louisiana, and I thought, oh yeah, I've worked all my life, this will be great to take a little break. But I think my professional identity was like, yeah, no, Selena, we love working and being part of contributing in that world. And so when I accidentally became an entrepreneur, my husband was such a big support in providing equipment and new computers so I could do my digital work, listening to me complain about things like Moni just said, like words from plugin to Trello to the cloud, but I think, he was there to support me. And so I think right now, the fact that I'm able to support him back and kind of like during this part of working and doing something that I absolutely love, and we can transition together as a family in a really like solid way.
Oh, I love that. That last line, that's like a catchphrase, right? We're transitioning together as a family in a solid way.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that really is the goal, right? That's the goal. And so many military families have not found that peace of mind, I think, on within the financial aspects of transition and retirement. So, okay, I'm going to pull us all in together just like this, and I'm going to ask this next question, and I'm going to pull up the AMSE website while you're kind of talking about this, Moni and Selena. You're both welcome to jump in at the same time, but I really want to talk about the top 3 benefits that AMSE offers military spouses. Now, let's make it super clear, right? Because you can be active duty, you can be retired, you can be separated, you can be transitioned, you can be divorced as a military spouse, and you can still join AMSE. There is no restrictions. If you were once a spouse, you can join AMSE.
I mean, it's true. And I was telling you guys this, we get messages. I mean, I get messages all the time on our Instagram, our Facebook. I'm a retired spouse. Can I join? I have a divorce from 12 years. Can I join? And it's always yes. Once a spouse, always a spouse. If you are a spouse in some way, the military life has affected you, right? I mean, it doesn't matter 1 year, 5 years, 25 years, whatever. It has affected you in some way, whether it's moving, whether it was financially, whether it's career. There's all these different things. So we always say once a spouse, always a spouse here at AMSE. And our entire mission is to help military spouses create economic impact through the resources we provide for entrepreneurship. There are dozens and hundreds of programs and Google and YouTube on how to run a business. But the difference is, and the number one thing, in my opinion, because it could be biased, is the community. It is the spouses know what you're going through and they're always willing to help you. Or it's a place where you can ask a question and not feel shame as a business owner for not knowing things, because a lot of times stigma comes with not knowing things as a business owner. Like, well, aren't you in this? Shouldn't you know that? But in our community, it's very much helpful. And we have spouses that will get on the phone, Selena, but hey, I'll pop on the phone with you and show you how to make that favicon. I got 30 minutes at this time. People charge $200 an hour for that. But in our community, they're willing to lend a hand because somebody did it for them, right? So it's lending a hand and paying it forward and going back and pulling somebody along with you and really helping them navigate that. So I would say for me, number one would be the community. And I feel like they get me and I get them and we get each other. And our complaints and our gripes and our journeys and taking time off and out of office and transitioning, like, oh, we get it because we are also living the same life. And I think that that's important when you're building something, to have people around you that understand.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know as an AMSE member, me personally, I have benefited directly the exact way you're talking about, right? In fact, I had somebody reach out to me on LinkedIn the other day that said, hey, if you were going to ask somebody about an LLC, who would you tell me to turn to? And I said, if you're not a part of AMSE, that's number one. Join AMSE. Next, just pop that question in the AMSE community, because you're going to get 20 responses from military spouses. They'll say, oh, so-and-so helped me, or this is what I did. And they're going to give you that direct information. You don't have to go Googling and then have that added stress of, well, does this apply to me as a military spouse? Because there's always that secondary question, right?
No, I mean, that's my number one thing that I love also as an AMSE member, is just the community that it's built. And, and when you remember, we have this, like, it's a very active Slack channel, and just to kind of be in there, that's what I love seeing. And like Moni said it's just to be kind of like in the presence of others that understand the journey, one as a military family, but two, and then as a small business, and then like the struggles with that and the constant moving around. But it's just like, it's like, there's that, when they say like, when you say like, you're a mom and you meet another mom and you just say, I know. Yeah, that's how it is. Like when you're a military spouse, but it's a military spouse entrepreneur in here, you're like, yeah, we know. And you just, I don't know. It's the community for sure for me as well. It was my number one gonna be, because I think that's important, right? That's what helps you kind of grow.
Yeah.
If not, you're just stuck building a business alone, and that can be terrifying, lonely, discouraging. I mean, I don't want to.
Impossible in some
I
ways.
know I don't want to build my business alone. I need people who I can drop ideas and ask questions, but also share what I'm doing and get really honest feedback from people who I know actually care about me being successful.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I would say is really really important about what we do at AMSE is we are not a feast and famine community. We are very collaborative. Spouses are always looking to help and support each other. And I don't know if that goes along with the community, but I really love that about the spouses. They're just willing to share and willing to give. The other thing I really love about what we do here at AMSE is our program itself. Masterclasses, you can go anywhere and listen to a masterclass. Let's just be honest, you can. But what you can't get is that time to ask curated questions and have conversation with the experts. A lot of times you are attending a masterclass or something, a workshop where you cannot engage and ask specific questions about things that you're trying to implement with certain products or services. And that is what makes our community a lot more unique and very important of the programming that we put together. So our experts come in and answer questions around what they teach. And they're talking with you and having conversation instead of talking at you and sharing information to check a box.
Yes.
And I think spouses, and I know spouses are tired of being talked at. We are tired of just, we're just going to put this information out, check a box and keep it moving. And at AMSE, because I'm a military spouse and still, I get it. And I built business and I'm still building. I tell you guys this all the time. I'm still building a business alongside you guys. So don't forget, I get the struggle too, but to know that I can do that and learn from that and be okay asking those questions in a space where my colleagues also may need the answers is invaluable. It truly is priceless. And that is what we offer. And we do it because we are tired of things being thrown at us to check a box. And it's really just a place you can go and Google the same information. But at AMSE, you get some help.
Yeah. So Moni, tell us really quick, there's a couple of partnerships that you just have recently had that are very exciting. Can you just share with us what these partnerships are? Because for someone who's maybe considering entrepreneurship, we're not talking small potatoes here. This isn't like just a bunch of military spouses getting together and having coffee and being like, hey, how's your business going? How's mine? I mean, that is included too, because we have a monthly coffee chat. So if you want to just chat about that, you're welcome to come do it. But there are some serious powerhouses behind your entrepreneurial push for military spouses that are supporting what you're doing. So can you just touch on that just for a minute?
Sure, Anna. So yeah, absolutely. So we're really working hard to, like I said, our entire mission is to create economic stability for our nation's military spouses. And while there's a lot of really great programming we offer, we also do have some great partners that come on board, which is Meta, also known as Facebook. We had to keep saying that because people were like, what is Meta? I was like, Meta, the Facebook, like the Facebook.
The Facebook, I love it.
I'm like Facebook, Meta. So they've come on board and they really have taken a liking to everything that our mission, the spouses that are in here building businesses to come alongside us and help us build what we're doing. We're also working with the Center for American Entrepreneurship on a bill that's going to be, fingers crossed, this December. So we'll be talking more about that and sharing more information. But the goal is to start getting more information out and start getting conversations going on a higher level other than very surface, which is what a lot of our programming does. It's very surfaced. Oh, we're doing this program, we're doing that. But really just starting to move that needle forward in a way that agencies are having that they have to implement programming and things that they have to follow through and support spouses in transitioning their business or moving their business. And these are all really important things for us to maintain that lifestyle. Of course, we have DraftKings. They've come on for another year. They have some really great program that teaches you how to also create and code. So that's really important. A lot of our spouses are in technology. Adobe has also come on board to support us, and USAA Small Business Insurance, one of our biggest supporters, they hands down are just the most incredible organization to work alongside of. So the organizations we work alongside of, they want to continue to help us not only push the programming to educate the spouses, help them, but also with grants, also with opportunities and get-togethers and things like that, that we can work collaboratively to not just have a program for you to come and do co-working and group coaching and all these things, but also to attend and to benefit in different ways. So those are some of our amazing, these are all of our partners, masterclass partners. We have different types of partners. Of course, we have corporate, which is, we always love our corporate partners, but we love our community partners that offer amazing discounts and programs that you can use to start and elevate your business and create systems and processes and just get a discount and a step ahead. And then we have our masterclass partners that come in and actually host the masterclasses and the group coaching.
Yeah, I mean, I just love scrolling down through here, right? I mean, Selena, what as an entrepreneur, when you look at this list, what are your, I mean, what's your first thought that goes through your head?
No, I get excited, right? These are tools that I use in my business to run. And the fact that we get to have some experts from those programs come in and actually talk and we get access to that, you know, that's exciting. And it's like, yeah, so exciting. I love it.
It is exciting. So, okay, to kind of like start to close this out, there are two things about AMSE that I would love for you to speak on. One is, if somebody wants to join AMSE, is there a cost? What can you do? How do you do it? And then also, I wanted to throw this up here. Just so everyone knows, if you are watching this or watching the replay right now, and you're interested at all in kind of seeing what AMSE can provide you, the Entrepreneurs Conference is happening October 5th and 6th. Tickets are on sale now. It's going to be amazing. And Moni, when you told me about this, it was like, it's a walk the walk kind of conference where it's action oriented. It's not a bunch of people, like she said, nobody's just chatting at you. You're actually hands-on working during this conference process.
Yes. And that is something that, once again, having the same conversation where organizations are putting together services or events or things like that, and they're meant to help spouses. The problem is that we leave these events and we leave with notebooks full of notes, and then we still have to go home and we have to implement. And I wanted to create something that was actionable, because when I go home and I say I'm going to implement with all these notes, either I have follow-up questions, I'm confused about a note that I took, and I don't know what's next. So in this conference, the Association Military Spouse Entrepreneurs Conference, the goal is to really walk out of there with learning to make money in 90 days. So we are going to have, we're sharing things that probably a lot of our spouses don't know about, like VIP days. How reels actually make you real money. We're sharing things like 90-day profit with an actual guide that you're going to actually work through. So don't come and think you're going to just be like, oh, I'm listening all day and I'm going to work on the client work, because that's what we do for virtual conferences. We'll be like, oh yeah, I'm listening, but you're creating content or you're doing whatever you need to do, answering emails. No, you guys, we want you to come and show up, and we want you to feel like, hey, I came to this conference and this virtual conference, and I was there and I actually have written down things and I've taken these things away and I can start implementing right away.
I have to tell you, I feel totally called out right now.
I mean, I've done it too.
So when I attend a virtual conference, that is exactly what I'm doing. Yep, I'm listening. What? Oh, that sounded important.
Yep. Yeah. No, this one is like, we're not playing games. Like, we have the 90-day 90 day to profit. And then the next session is an actual, you're going to be working through the workbook. We have the VIP days. We have, oh my gosh, our keynote, which is Lauren Weiner. Like, what? She's amazing. Like, girl crushing on her so badly. I'm just really excited about everything we have lined up. We also have some mental space and direction, mindful mindset, because a lot of times what I run into is when I talk to spouses and you talk about their business, they downplay it. And that makes me so extremely sad, because the reason that they downplay it is because either A, they feel that their business is not worthy, or they feel that they haven't made enough money to brag about it, right? So mindset is everything. Like, you can be a millionaire. You can. Yeah. It is doable. I know many spouses who are millionaires. So you have to change that mindset. So we want you to come in with a good mindset. So we're doing mindset shifts the first 2 sessions of each day. We have a comedian coming at the end of one of the days, which is exciting. We have 2 keynotes. We have 8 sessions. I'm incredibly lucky. I'm blessed to have the team and the speakers that I have. We're teaching you how to make funnels. Selena, Anna, you know, funnels are a thing. They're hard. But a lot of times people feel like they have to be tech savvy. And Sandra's talking about, listen, you don't. And this is what you can do, you know? And so it is for any spouse who is actually looking at starting a business. Maybe you just have an idea. The 90 day to profit will help you so much. Maybe you are starting and you're in the early stages and you haven't really made that money yet and you want to. Maybe you are, you know, sustaining it and you need to learn new techniques and new ways to generate more revenue, or maybe you want to scale. So like every single avenue and every facet of spouse can definitely benefit from this conference.
Yeah. I'm going to throw the link to this conference into the chat right now. So anybody who's listening or catching the replay, head to that link and go buy your tickets. Because seriously, I'm so excited for this conference. Like, you just got me so stoked I'm like,
you ain't gonna be able to do no emails, girl.
Okay, so Moni, tell everyone really quick, how can you join AMSE, and is there a cost to it? All of that kind of thing.
Yes. Okay. One other thing. So also we have the hostesses with the mostesses hosting the conference. This is Anna and Selena. They're such a great duo. I mean, I really couldn't have, like, every time we do something, you guys are just going to be it. So, so you guys also have to come because Anna and Selena are going to be there.
Right.
Also, so to join AMSE, the program is free. You get to access the membership portal, which is a secure portal where you get verified that you're a military member. You get access to masterclasses, co-working, coffee chat, building your business the AMSE way. You get access to all of these things. If you want to have more one-on-one coaching time with coaches, or you want to take the cohort, which helps you build your business in 8 weeks from bottom to top, or maybe you have a business that has a lot of potholes that you keep running into. I always say one of the potholes is always tax season. Because you're like, oh, I meant to do this last year, and every single year you don't go back and do it. So it helps you do that. So if you want to do the cohort, and if you want to participate in the group coaching, there is a upcharge. But overall, it's free. So just join and bring all your friends.
Yeah.
And so I did already throw this out there right now. So find out more about AMSE. Go visit their website. There is no way you can miss a join us button. They're all over the place. Right? Are all over the place, and it's free. Like, so even if you're just thinking about being an entrepreneur, this is a great way to just jump in. And I want to say one more thing. Even on that website, that this one right here that I'm sharing right now, you can also pull off the monthly action guides, which just give you tidbits of like some of the value you're going to get from this organization as an entrepreneur. So just read one of them and see if it's beneficial to you, and you'll know right away if AMSE is going to be for you. Yeah. So, okay, we have chatted. I love this. I just have one last question for the two of you. Yeah. And it is, what is the most useful advice you've received as a military spouse entrepreneur that you would pass on to a transitioning or retiring spouse? Who
Ooh,
wants to start?
I'll start. I'll start just so I can get it out of the way. So, okay, I thought about this question a lot throughout the years, but it didn't come from my military life, but I've applied it so much in my military life. But I was a new manager, young on a team, and I did my thing. My head was down. There was no light shining on Selena, and not that I wanted it, but I just, I was like, I'm just doing it. This is how I'll be. And we had a big corporate executive come into town, and I was like, oh, definitely stay away, right? Like, I'll kind of go out the back way, so I avoid him outside in the restaurant. But we were passing each other in the back prep kitchen, and he stopped me, and he's like, hey, you do a damn good job. Just don't forget it, And and it's not like, oh, he told me that and I hadn't heard it from others, but something from him, it disrupted my thought that I am not worthy enough or I'm not as important as the other members on the team. Because it came from such a high level executive. He had seen my action and he took a moment to stop me to make sure I knew. And then that was it. Then we kept going. But he's like, I just want to make sure you know that. And then he joked. And if you ever say this out loud, I'll deny it. Right. Because that's just kind of how it was in the restaurant business. But I think it's just the recognition of somebody. That's the advice that he gave me in the sense of recognize and let people know that they do a good job and that you see them,
Mm.
And so to me, I try as much as I can in the military spouse community to constantly say, I see you. I see the hard work that you put in. You are not by yourself. I'm here. Whether it's a comment on a post, a text message to them privately. So that's been the most useful advice I was ever given indirectly. And it's just, I want to be that. I want to disrupt that negative thinking that we usually put ourselves in. Because I'll never forget, I literally floated out of the room because I felt so good. Like
Yeah.
I thought, oh, okay, I do a good job. So
And I think you could probably speak to this now as a military spouse in the throes of transition right now, how desperately that is needed for someone to say, we value you, you're good at what you do, you're still part of our community, and you're a valued member of our community. I mean, all those things, right?
Yeah. And Moni is like amazing at that. She is constantly like making sure people see that they are, well, I mean, she's even done that to me, where I'm like, I don't think I am. And Moni will tell me in a text message, are you crazy?
I literally say, how dare you talk about my friend like that? How dare you? No, I get mad. I'm like, how dare you talk about my friend like that?
So
I love my friends.
Moni, I think that's why I love being part of your community that you've created, because I think you remind us, right, to say, how dare you, to that imposter syndrome that sits with us quite often. And I think that's what I love being around is that energy that you bring into the space of AMSE. So
I appreciate you saying that. That means a lot.
Aw, don't make me cry, Moni. Not here on It's hard what we do as entrepreneurs. So it's just, you put yourself in those spaces that you want to be in, that where you can thrive and grow and continue to be lifted up by others. It doesn't have to be constantly about me, but maybe I can offer somebody to be lifted up. And it's such a really good give and take community. And I just absolutely love it. Love it.
And when military spouses are transitioning out of active duty service, we are seeking community. And so as you're going through that move process, I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, this is such a great space for you to share some of that like anxiety and stress of that whole transition process. So Selena, thank you so much for those thoughts. Okay, I'm going to throw Moni into the spotlight and say,
one last thing. I just wanted to make sure I said this about Moni. Talking about because I am transitioning in 4 days. There was no question, as a soon-to-be retired spouse, that AMSE would still welcome me. Like, it was very clear to me that because I've been a member for a couple of years, I know that I'm welcome no matter what. Like she just said earlier in the thing, you know, once a spouse, always a spouse. And I don't feel like a library moment that Anna and I had is going to happen with Moni's community. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Thank you, Selena. Absolutely. Okay. Moni, if I were to throw the same question at you, most useful advice.
It will be to not listen to the noise and stay focused on your purpose and your intention. So we're all put on this earth for a reason, and we all have an innate natural thing of something we're supposed to do. And I think that when we're doing that, sometimes family, friends, colleagues, imposter syndrome kind of get in the way of moving you forward. And so it's really important for you to stay focused on what your intention is and listen to your internal feelings, because you can get distracted, and the noise outside on social media and what other people are suggesting and what they're doing can sometimes derail you from what your purpose is. And so I say that because when I first started the MilSpouse Creative a few years ago, and then I started an app and I had all these other things, I had somebody say to me, and I think they said it like out of love, but they said to me, why don't you just focus on one thing? And if I would have done that, I wouldn't be where I am today, understanding technology the way that I do, understanding why technology is important in the future of the growth of AMSE, understanding that I built a network on many apps that I'm able to connect with thousands and thousands of military spouses and share the program. So I just think it's really important with all the social media highlight reels and, you know, this person's success and this person, I'm on this and I'm on that. Stay focused with your intention and you will get there. Like what is meant for you will be for you, but you have to stay on track. So that is my biggest piece of advice.
I love that. And I'm just going to pull that back into entrepreneurship and transitioning spouses too, because if you have ever considered it and had somebody say, it's so much work, you won't like it. Yeah. You don't have the startup capital for it. You're way too busy for that. I mean, you can't do that when your spouse is deploying or PCSing. You can't do that when your spouse is retiring. Whatever that naysayer is saying to you, what Moni is saying right now is so true. You can do it. You can, if you stay focused on that goal. And I'm just going to say AMSE is a great place that's going to support you through that process. Because it's not easy. I mean, I'm not saying like you're going to be like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur now. Next week, I'm making $1 million, right? It's not going to be that easy. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
I wish it was that easy, you know, but you can do it. And if that's really what you want to do, if that's like a goal that you have, if this kind of financial security for your family is what you're seeking and you think you want to do it via entrepreneurship, then I'm just going to say now is the time to join and to stay that course. Just like Moni said, stay that course, because I mean, come on, did you see that list of corporate sponsors that are backing military spouse entrepreneurs right now? It's huge. That list is huge and impressive. And that's exciting. Yeah. Military spouses are getting recognized for their skills and abilities and in entrepreneurship right now. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
So
as they should.
That's right. I love that. There's always that final like exclamation point right there on the end.
Not even, it's a period, right? It's period. Right.
All right, Moni and Selena, can you, hold on. Let me change that just a little bit.
Myself.
Can the two of you share where anyone who's listening right now or watching the replay, where they can find you, each of you, to connect with you further after this, if they have questions or comments or whatever?
Go ahead, Moni. You go first.
Yeah, so you can find me everywhere at Moni Jefferson and then AMSE Agency on all the socials.
You cannot miss her.
And on my feed, I share a lot of personal stuff. So if you're looking for entrepreneurship stuff, you need to go to AMSE's feed. I mean, I do share some business stuff, but for the most part, I like to have fun on social media. I don't want to take myself too seriously, you know?
No, I hear you. Absolutely. I think it just reminds us all we're not like these machines, right? Like this gives you an insight of like, I have a real life behind when I help others.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I cry when I have a big load of laundry that needs to get done.
Well, mine is today. I literally was at the gym and I shared with you like 20 pictures of all the food I ate in Aruba, which is why I'm in the gym today and this whole week. I'm like, it was worth it, guys. It was worth it.
It looked so good. I was like, I am so hungry right now as I ate my like crackers and cheese for lunch. My crudité. I'm like,
Oh, good.
Let me get that carrot in my ranch dressing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Selena, where can our guests find you?
Yeah. Same. I'm all over. Really, I'm all over. But I love to kind of hang out on LinkedIn. And I think currently right now I'm on the gram. So I'm just there. But yeah.
Selena's been doing a lot of fun reels on the gram. So at the Howley on Instagram, if you want to catch some of her fun reels.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever the slide said.
Whatever the slide said.
Yeah.
Ladies, thank you so much for being here with me today, for talking about entrepreneurship for transitioning and retiring spouses, for letting them know about yet another choice that they have when it comes to financial stability for their families. And for anyone listening, remember, it's not just for the retiring or transitioning. Active duty, you could be at the very beginning of your military career, catch this live stream, and still join AMSE. There is no like, must have been a military spouse for 5 years type of requirement we've got going on here. It's entrepreneur.
Yeah. Military spouse.
Military spouse. Yeah. And if entrepreneurship is in your heart, then this is a great place for you to go and find out. Make sure you connect with our guests on all of the different socials. And if you have any questions about AMSE, because I am also an AMSE fanatic, I'm just going to call myself that, right? I do so many AMSE things, and you don't know or you forgot how to find these two, reach out directly to me, and I'm happy to direct you on how you can join AMSE for free and become an entrepreneur. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us today. I look forward to having you on our next Spouse Link live stream in October. We've got a couple of fun things coming up. Give an Hour is going to be one of our guests. That's free therapy for, again, anyone affiliated with the military. And this applies to children as well, and caregivers and all kinds of people. So excited to have on some new guests in October. And until then, we will see you on socials. Thank you so much.